what's the relationship between silence and music? Because both are valuable. And I would say music was very helpful to the degree it helped me connect. It would kind of set the tone and help me focus. And there is a sense internally of a vibration, I would say, of what it feels like to be experiencing the anointing. And, somebody said, that person gave me a good vibe. This gives me a bad vibe. Well, God gives you a good vibe, right? And it is internal. It's a sensitivity that we have. And music seems to interact with it very intimately, right? And music, especially for the Westerners, because we have so much of it, definitely is something that we have an interesting relationship with.
I think God's presence is connected to sound. For one, worship is, I think, the sound of heaven. What songs are being sung in heaven, I feel like God's people are releasing that on earth. Jesus even said to pray, Lord, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. There's an invasion of heaven's sound and culture coming to earth. So people that are gifted with music and worship and singing, they're releasing the sound of heaven, God's heart, through what they're singing, through the musical tones, through vibration. There is a convergence of heaven and earth, and it's a sweet kiss.
I started to feel like I needed silence too. And so that's kind of like something I try to stay fluid with. Do I feel like this is a time I need music or a time I need silence? Because sometimes when I really want to be sensitive and perceptive, silence is what I want the most.
Why is God's presence connected to silence? Because I feel like He's found in silence. When we can stop, again, focusing on the external things, what can stimulate us from the outside, and really focus inward, that inward turning towards our spirits, where Jesus lives and has His being inside us. The John 15, abiding in Him as He abides in us. We find Him here.
I've just been finding that when I choose the quiet place, when I choose to engage in the secret place, which is God's presence in the silence, you hear things.
The more activity going on in my life, sometimes the harder it is to access like the cry of my own heart. But in that quiet place, there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. And all of a sudden, like what your voice is actually, what your heart is actually longing for and crying out for, you hear it loud and clear.
Why is it so difficult to be still? I think because our Western culture is about achievement. If we're not producing anything, or if we're not achieving anything, or we're not getting anything done in the external, we feel like things are pointless or useless or counterproductive, and that's not right. I love just reading the literature in the Psalms. We see the psalmist becoming still before the Lord, waiting. We even see God's language with the people of Israel, telling them, "You have only to be still. I'm going to fight this battle for you." I think we find that in Exodus 14:14. So there's a power in stillness. There's a power in silence and trusting God completely, not feeling like you have to produce in anything in of yourself, but totally rely on God for His power to work in and through us.